Let's grab a web page from an RSS feed and turn it into a social media post. So we're going to create a new scenario. We can go ahead and give it a name. Let's call it RSS to socials. And we're going to start with an RSS trigger. Now, we're going to retrieve feed items now, but we could also watch for feed items and schedule it so that every time there's a new post on a particular website, we can grab that and turn it into a social media post. But for now, for testing, we're just going to stick to retrieve RSS feed items. I'm going to grab an RSS feed that I already have here from ahrefs.com just for demonstration. And we're just going to return one item for now because we only need to work with one URL. Let's go ahead and run that just to see everything's working okay. And you'll see that the output does indeed have a title, description, a summary, and a URL. So everything is ready to go for the next step. Next, we are going to make an HTTP request. And an HTTP request is just like opening the website in a browser. So we're going to do a GET request, and the URL we can grab from the RSS feed that we had generated earlier. That's all that we need to do, and we can just go ahead and hit save. If we run that, the node should show us the entire content of that particular web page. And if we go to data, we'll see that all of the data from that web page, HTML code and text, is all there ready for us. Next, we want to use a text parser, and we want to convert HTML to text. And what this will do is it will remove all HTML elements and just leave us with the text that we can then work with and process further. So let's just hit save and run that to test it. And if we click that, we can indeed see that the output bundle contains the entire content of the web page without any HTML. So that's ready to go. Next up, we want to fire up OpenAI, and we can create a chat completion. Make sure you have your connection set up. If you don't have one, you can go ahead and add it. Grab your API key from platform.openai.com. I've already got mine set up, so I'm going to choose a model. Let's leave it at GPT-4o because the input prompt may end up being quite large depending on the size of the web page. And I have a prompt right here. It's this very simple prompt asking it to summarize the blog post below, and we can just add the text that we have parsed in the earlier step. Let's go ahead and hit save. And let's run that to see if everything is working fine. Let's go ahead and open that output just to make sure everything is fine. Under output, if we click on result, we'll see that there is indeed a very nice summary of the article generated by OpenAI. So now that that's all set, let's move on to the next step, which is to create another chat completion. This time, we want to generate social media posts for each platform. So let's go ahead and select the same model as before. I'm going to go ahead and add a message from the user, and the text is a prompt that I have ready. You can grab this prompt from the description. This is basically a very detailed prompt instructing ChatGPT on the ideal format for LinkedIn, for Twitter, and Facebook posts. So we can go all the way down, and we just need to tell ChatGPT what the article is. So let's go ahead and hit enter and grab the title from the RSS feed and the summary that ChatGPT generated, which is the result of the last completion. Now we do want to show advanced settings, and we want to make sure the response format is a JSON object, and you want to parse the JSON response. And we're going to add a system message in which we are going to instruct ChatGPT as to the exact format that we are expecting it to output. This is very important. So now that all of that is set, we can go ahead and hit save. Let's go ahead and run it and see if the output is working fine. So we have our output. Let's go ahead and check it out. We can open the result, and we'll see that we have a Facebook post. We also have a LinkedIn post, and we have a Twitter post, and every piece of content is an individual JSON object that we can use. So that is perfect. Next up, we want to head to replicate.com, head over to explore, and we are going to choose a model to generate our image with. So there's a lot of models to choose from. The cheapest one is something called Flux Schnell, which you can find by going to generate images, clicking more. And if you scroll down, once the page loads, you should be able to see a model called Flux Schnell. And you will need to add some balance to your account for this. So you can go ahead to account settings. Once you're in account settings, you can go to billing and top up your account with a few dollars. $2 to $3 is more than enough for what we're working with. So you can scroll down, find Flux Schnell, and let's go ahead and click on that and open it to see what we need to do. Under Flux Schnell, you can see that it's very cheap. It's 1/3 of a cent per generation, which is more than enough for testing. You may want to change the model for your production. And this is the structure of the request that we need to make. And this is the body that we need to send. So let's leave this for now, and we can head back over to make.com and set everything up. In make.com, we want to add a new node. This time the node is going to be an this time the node is going to be a chat completion again. The model, we can stick to GPT-4o latest, but you can use mini for this as well. The role is going to be user, and this time we are instructing ChatGPT to generate a descriptive prompt that we can use to make an image. And for context, we are going to feed it the social media post that we generated in the earlier step. We do want to go to show advanced settings and force ChatGPT to output as a JSON object and parse the JSON response. And we will tell ChatGPT what the format should be by adding a developer message with the exact key value pair that we're looking for. And this just ensures that we're getting the exact response that we want without any unnecessary artifacts. Let's go ahead and run that to test everything. And if we go to result, we'll indeed see that we have a very detailed prompt that we can then use and send over to replicate and generate our image to use for our social media post. Now let's add another node. This time it's going to be an HTTP request. Just make a basic request. And for the URL, we want to go back to replicate. And under the, at the very bottom, we'll find the URL that we need to make the request to. So let's go ahead and grab that. And we can paste that in here. The method is going to be post. And let's go ahead and grab the headers from replicate as well. The first header is called authorization. So the name of the key is authorization, which we can copy, grab that and paste it into make. The value is going to be bearer, capital B, and your API key. So let's just copy all of that for now, and we will replace the API key later. Scroll down. The second key we're looking for is content type. You can just copy everything, paste it in here. The value is going to be application JSON. You can leave that as it is. And let's go ahead and replace the API key, which you can find by going into your replicate account on your username, go to API tokens, and you can find your API token here. If you don't have one, you can enter a name and create a new token as well. Now my token may be visible on screen, so I'm going to end up deleting this once this video goes live, but that's fine. Just select everything from the dollar sign and replace the token. And the body type is going to be raw JSON. And let's go ahead and grab the opening curly brace to the closing curly brace between the two apostrophes. And we can paste all of that in. Everything else can remain the same, but we want to erase the existing prompt and instead drag in the prompt that ChatGPT generated for us in our earlier step. And we are going to parse the response. Everything looks good. We can hit save. And let's save the entire workflow just to be safe. And let's run that one more time. Now, if we look at the output, we can go down to data and go down to URLs all the way at the bottom. And we'll see that there is a get URL. And we need to call this URL to get the path of the generated image file. But before we do that, it does take a few seconds for the image to generate. So we need to add a sleep node. Let's go ahead and give it a 10-second delay, which means make.com will wait 10 seconds before executing the next node. And we can add the next node, which is going to be another HTTP request. This time, we are going to get the URL from the earlier node, the get URL. Make sure that the method is get. And we do need to go ahead and add the authorization header as we did in the earlier step. So we can go ahead and copy that, paste that in, and grab the API key as well. Remember to add bearer before that. And if we run this, we should now end up with the URL for a ready generated image. So let's go ahead and check that out. We can go down to output, and we'll see that we have a WebP file that we can access. So beautiful, our image is ready to go. Now we can add another HTTP request, and this time we need to download a file. So we can use get a file, and this time we don't need any authorization. We can just directly pass in the URL of the image. Now the next step is going to be to add a router, because everything is ready. We just need to post it to the respective social media channels. So for this demonstration, I'm going to show you LinkedIn to start with. So what the router does is it takes all of the data and it passes that data along multiple routes. So you can split one stream into multiple streams. So that's what we are going to try to achieve with the router. The first node is going to be LinkedIn, and we want to create a user image post. If you don't have your credentials already set up, you can go ahead and click add. It's fairly easy to set it up. If you select LinkedIn OpenID Connect, you'll get a pop-up window where you can log in your LinkedIn account. The file has already been referenced from the earlier node from HTTP get a file. The title can be the title of the RSS feed, or you can change the ChatGPT prompt to output a title as well. And the content can be the LinkedIn object that we had generated earlier. Visibility can remain public. Feed distribution is the main feed, and we can go ahead and hit save. Now let's go ahead and test this out. Leave this at just LinkedIn for now. We can save the entire workflow. I'm going to go ahead, let's go ahead and hit run and let this whole workflow play out. And if we head over to LinkedIn, we'll see that indeed there is a brand new post on LinkedIn with a beautiful generated image and some text all ready to go. Now, if you wanted to add more socials, you can just click on the plus icon. You can go to Facebook pages and you can create a post on Facebook pages. You need your credentials set up. You just need to finish the mapping, add a message, add a link, etc. You can hit the plus icon and search for X or Twitter. And you can go ahead and select create a post and repeat that process to post on Twitter as well. You will need to set up your credentials. And there you have it, a ready workflow to grab items from an RSS feed and post them to your socials. And you can replace the earlier node from retrieve RSS items to watch RSS items. And your whole social media system will be on autopilot. If you enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate it if you could give it a like. It really helps with the algorithm. And subscribe to the channel for the latest on AI and automation.